Welcome back, everybody. We have Tom Moulton and John Brzezinski. They're both part of the Old Tucson Partnership, bringing Old Tucson back to life. Not that it was ever going anywhere. We're just glad it's back.
So in case you didn't hear us talking about it a few minutes ago, we had a really great experience at Old Tucson Studios where we were able to go in and get in wardrobe. We were actually wearing really nice outfits that were well put together. And we got to spend our entire day kind of taking a look back in time and experiencing things as they sort of would have been. And so can you share with us just a little bit more about kind of the history of it and the overall feel of Old Tucson?
Well, I think we should probably talk first about how Old Tucson came to be. Back in 1939, Hollywood was scouting for the movie Arizona, which is appropriate since we're in Arizona. And they found this plot of land, which is owned by Pima County. And they built a small western town of about 40 buildings in a very short amount of time. Many of those buildings and structures are still on property. And they filmed Arizona. Since then, over 400 famous and not so famous movies and television shows have been filmed at Old Tucson. We love the history of film at the studio. John Wayne, 4 of his most famous movies were filmed there. The movie stars are just endless. The names of people, Frank Sinatra and Elizabeth Taylor and Steve Martin, and the list goes on and on and on of all the people that have filmed there.
Yeah.
And television shows like High Chaparral was filmed there, and the last season of Little House on the Prairie was filmed there. When the family moved to Minnesota, they actually came to Tucson and Old Tucson to film. We are an active movie studio. We continue to film out at the studio, and even before the tax incentive has hit us here, we have movies daily contacting us with interest about filming at the studio.
And that's great news.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting. And we already have quite a few movies booked for the studio in the park, so it's really exciting for us.
And we want to know what they are, but you can't tell us, or you have to kill us, right?
Come on, John.
I am so itchy to tell you, but we really can't. We're not allowed to tell you about
we
the
know
films.
that, but we love that that's coming to Tucson and the economic impact of it, just showcasing Tucson as a city. The desert is so beautiful, and I think people need to see that. And
absolutely.
Tucson is very special, and I think once they get here, they're always going to come back.
John, do you want to talk a little about the new owners and what they've done to bring about the new partnerships and stuff you have?
Yes. So when the park closed before just about the beginning of COVID, Pima County was looking for some new residents to take over the park, and as the lessees of the park, and it's an unusual situation because you've got this historic preservation portion, plus live entertainment, plus film, and finding the right partnership. The company that I work for, the parent company is American Heritage Railways. They are out of Durango, Colorado. They're a family-owned company, and their main purpose, as unusual as it may sound, is to preserve, restore, and foster American historic steam locomotive railway systems in this country.
Wow.
They own the big 5, including the Durango-Silverton line and the Rocky Mountain Railroad, among others, and have restored a number of historic hotels also. That doesn't end the company. We have a number of other subsidiary companies that come off of American Heritage, one of which is Rail Events. Rail Events partners with Warner Brothers Studios. Here's our film connection. And we have a number of projects. Probably our most famous one is we hold the licensing rights for the Polar Express. We produce 6 professional productions around the country in Chicago, New York, LA, Oklahoma City, Miami, and New Orleans right now. And we also then oversee hundreds of smaller rail system productions and monitor those around the world, in England and Canada and all the way down to Australia. So we're a very busy company. So the partnering work perfectly because we have the historic restoration and preservation, we have the film connection, and we also do large-scale immersive theater in unusual locations. So, it was like the perfect pairing.
Right.
So we were granted a 50-year lease on the property, and we're not planning on going anywhere.
So what are some of the things that are changing a little bit? Some, I know that during the summer it's very hot going out into Old Tucson Studios, and it's really cool to go and see it. But I heard that you're shifting a little bit into some special events as we go into the summer.
Absolutely. We're running the current show, A Western Experience, through May 7th. The park will be closed for a little bit of time for some filming that's coming in. But we're going to be running some special events in the evenings out at the park, which has been done a lot in the past. So if you'll keep an eye on our website, we'll be able to see some really special, neat things to do in the park in the evenings through the summer.
Do you want to go ahead and give us that website?
oldtucson.com.
And so check there frequently. There are things that are not scheduled yet or they're in the works, but we can't talk about today. So you'll want to be sure and keep an eye on that. And the show that's there now is running through May 7th.
It is. It's Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays from 10:30 in the morning till 5 o'clock. We also run walking movie history tours every single day of the week, 7 days a week.
So if we were taking phone calls, I would probably ask one question, John. Try not to put you on the spot.
Oh, put him on the spot. We don't care.
Great.
How many railroad engines do you have in your portfolio?
Well, I can't tell you the exact amount, but we have probably the largest collection of railroad engines.
Without revealing any secrets, because I certainly wouldn't want to put you on the spot. But we lost the Reno. But the United States gained the completely renovation of the Reno, which was the MGM famous engine that starred in a lot of movies, especially the one that ran through the town with Joe Kidd. That was an interesting movie. Do you think there's an opportunity somewhere down the line that we might have old steam locomotives starring in the movies again at Old Tucson?
Absolutely. We
all right,
because we have so many opportunities to bring locomotives here. It depends on what a film would want, and we could transport those easily from our Durango location and around the world, actually.
There's nothing more unusual to see a 1800 steam locomotive on track, making its way to Old Tucson. And Warner Brothers is a studio that renovated the Reno. So what a great partnership you have.
Hold up. You mean that when we rode at Old Tucson wasn't a locomotive?
It's what you call a scale modeled replica of an 1880s, called the C.P. Huntington, which was a real name.
Yeah.
And for those that when the documentary comes out, we did the documentary for two reasons. One, to make sure there's lots of special memories for your family, and also to let folks know about Make-A-Wish and the opportunities that are out there to really have special days for the folks that are working with Make-A-Wish. So that will be out soon, and we look forward to seeing that. And it was shot in 4K, so it's a beautiful, beautiful production.
Yeah. You listen to Tom Moulton, who is the Southern Arizona Attraction Alliance Executive Director, and also with John Muziski, who is the Entertainment Director for Old Tucson. We'll be back on the other side to talk a little bit more about Old Tucson and what's going on in the future, and a little bit about the staff and how huge this place is, because we want everybody to know that there's a really great place to go visit. Talk to you on the other side.